Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. Sure signs the American automakers are starting to recover. VW might buy a Korean car company, and how GM plans to drastically cut the cost of batteries for the Volt. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Wednesday, September 23rd, 2009, and now the news. In a clear sign that the American market is starting to heal, Reuters reports that General Motors is hiring back 3,000 workers and will raise production in North America next year by 45%. Wards reports that GMC is getting 3 times more orders for the new Terrain than it has the capacity to build them. It expects to sell 10,000 Terrains by the end of the year. Meanwhile, Bloomberg reports that Ford expects sales in the American market to hit 11 million units this year, which means sales will have to be strong in the fourth quarter. Ford then expects sales to hit 12.5 million next year and 14.5 million by 2011. Funny, just 2 years ago, we would have described those forecasts as disastrous, and now we can't wait for them to hit that level. Sure pays to have good friends in high places. The Associated Press reports that the U.S. Energy Department is providing Fisker with a loan of over $500 million to make plug-in electric cars. Now, it could turn out that Fisker does become a successful car company, but so far it has never put a car in production. It is still a year away from putting any cars in production, and when they do build them, they're going to build them in Finland. One of the major investors in Fisker is the private equity firm of Kleiner Perkins, Caulfield and Byers, which counts former Vice President Al Gore as a partner. Last week, we reported that Volkswagen was going to add 2 brands to its portfolio. We thought it might be either Suzuki or MAN or Ducati. Now, Gasgoo.com reports that one of those brands will likely be Korean automaker Ssangyong Motors. VW will acquire it with its Chinese joint venture partner SAIC, which already holds a stake in Ssangyong. The acquisition could boost production for Volkswagen by 250,000 units. Dassault and a joint venture between Dow and Kokam are teaming up to develop batteries for electric cars and hybrids. According to the AFP, they have developed liquid-cooled lithium batteries and high-precision electronics. Earlier today, Ford unveiled a new small car in India and other Asia-Pacific markets. CEO Alan Mulally himself introduced the Figo, a compact hatchback that looks roughly the same size as a Fiesta, which is not surprising because the 2 cars share the same underlying technology. Italy was the inspiration for the car's kinetic styling and its name. Figo is casual Italian for cool. Ford recently invested $500 million at its plant in India, which doubled its capacity to 200,000 units. As the value of the dollar continues to fall, the U.S. is becoming a more attractive export nation. Wards reports that Nissan is exporting American-built engines to Japan. This is the first time the company's ever done this. It's assembling 5.6-liter V8s in Tennessee for the Infiniti QX56. In related news, Honda announced that it's building Civic sedans in Indiana for export to Mexico and 22 other markets in Latin America and the Caribbean. Hey, coming up next, a key way that GM will be able to slash the cost of the batteries in the Chevy Volt.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
On Monday, as most of you know, we did a live webcast with Tom Stevens, the head of all product development at General Motors. We got a really good question from a viewer, an S. Peterson from Scottsdale, Arizona, who asked about a 150,000-mile battery warranty that the California Air Resources Board is requiring of all plug-ins and extended-range EVs. Strangely, the CARB does not require that hybrids or battery electric cars have this kind of warranty. But to make sure that it can absolutely meet that 150,000-mile warranty, Tom Stevens told us they only use about half the capacity of the batteries in the Chevy Volt.
if you have, say, 16 kilowatt hours available to you in the battery, we're only using half, or 8 kilowatt hours, because we know that treating the battery that way will significantly extend its durability. The key here, though, I believe, is to learn what causes durability failures, fix those through technology, and then be able to, rather than use 50, use 60, use 70, use 80% of the battery and still have the life. And then you can use a much smaller battery, so you have a much lighter vehicle, a lower cost vehicle going forward. So that's what we're doing. And when I always refer to, hey, I've got to get through the first and second generation of technology, it's those kind of things that I'm referring to. We're going to get a lot smarter, and as we get smarter, the cost of power electronics, the cost of batteries, the cost of electric motors, all that's going to go down and become more affordable.
Okay, if I'm reading this right, what Tom Stevens is saying is that as they get more comfortable with meeting that 150,000-mile battery warranty and can work those batteries harder, they will quickly be able to cut the cost of them. In other words, if the Volt batteries now cost $10,000, but they only use half the capacity, then if they can get to 80% capacity in a few years and use smaller batteries, they might be able to take $3,000 to $4,000 out of the cost. Anyway, that is it for today's show. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.